some discussion on the municipal buildings electrical supplier, and the bandstand repair contract, the employee compensation and classification discussion and review of the document that was finally given to us from, what was the?
Collins Center.
Collins Center, right, that's right.
UMass Lowell.
Yeah. Then we have Woodward's Mill Dam Repair Task Order to approve. The Establishing Designer Selection Committee for the Union Building Interior Design. We have a employee team building exercise and a request for a early closure of the town hall on one day. Prohibiting the insurance of electrical permits for unlicensed homeowners, discussion. Consideration of waiving building permit fees for 12 affordable units for the MCO cottages at the Mud District. A discussion on 307 Pleasant Street for the junk and unregistered motor vehicle bylaw potential violations. And then a discussion on fall special town meeting. And lastly, the appointments to the Cultural Council. Anybody in the public choose to speak to something not on the agenda? No? All right, very good. We'll move on. We have a set of minutes from August 12th, 2025.
Really good.
All right, so motion?
Move to approve meeting minutes as written from August 12th,
Second.
2025.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Okay, municipal buildings, electrical supply. So this was something, Jason, you sort of stumbled across, and this would take the municipal buildings, not including the school, and create a new supplier.
Sorry.
The
Are
owl.
you still in, Jason?
Okay.
Are you and Brian there?
Brian is here.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
All right. Sorry about that.
yeah, so there's really not much more I need to explain. I'll let the two people know more about this, but essentially putting as we know, the town now has the Dunstable power, which we have an energy supplier with a locked rate that is lower than what National Grid is offering. It's sort of a similar thing, but just for municipal buildings only, not including the school, you said, at an even lower rate. So that's something we really want to consider. That could provide us with, some good
Based
enough
on,
savings, yeah.
based on the prices for electricity right now, any savings is.
Anything
no
is
win,
great, yeah.
because the numbers are nuts, so.
So
Brian,
Cameron,
can you hear us?
I can, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try to turn you up a little bit. Give me a minute. That's just,
Forgive my appearance, I just finished my son's flag football practice.
all right. That's as loud as you're gonna get, so I'm gonna turn you here. Okay, so I'll give a brief overview and then turn it to Brian. So Brian reached out to the town, about a month ago, I'd say, maybe a little longer than that, about looking at our municipal facilities and buildings accounts for electricity and procuring a supplier, similar to what we did for the entire town not too long ago. With the hope that because of the amount of electricity we're purchasing, we may be able to get a lower rate than what's being provided now by Dunstable Community Power.
Mhm.
So in your packet, you'll see some bid results from a few weeks ago now that show that we're actually, and Brian actually has a more up-to-date bid result that, what was it, this afternoon? Okay, so this afternoon, that's also lower than what we're currently paying. So the estimate is around a $2,500 savings. It's not gonna, it's not gonna, help our budget situation. It's not gonna solve all our budget problems. But any way we can save money is
Absolutely.
a welcome thing for the town. So, Brian, I don't know if you have what you have to add, but I'm glad you're here. And if you want to add anything to what I just said, that'd be great.
just quickly, that's a savings from the municipal power rate, not the National Grid rate. So
Correct,
it's even better than it may
Amplified.
seem, yeah.
correct.
That is 100% accurate. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me to the meeting this evening. I think Jason did a pretty good job recapping the situation here. My name is Brian White, and I'm the Municipal Program Director at Freedom Energy. And in Massachusetts, we currently help 36 municipal cities, towns, water and sewer departments, and housing authorities better manage their energy spending. And Jason kind of hit the nail on the head where the town of Dunstable has been very proactive. They've entered into the Dunstable Community Power Program. And that fixed price is 14.074 cents all the way through December of 2026. So when I was speaking with Jason, I suggested we collect the town's invoices and put those out to bid as a standalone procurement and see what type of options we get back. We had multiple suppliers. Initially, Jason and I have done a few rounds of pricing, so we've kind of narrowed it down to NRG and Constellation. And this afternoon, Constellation sent over what I think, in my recommendation, is a 36-month term at 12.799 cents. It would work identically the way that the Dunstable Community Power Rate works. This would be for an October start. The rate would go right on the invoice. There's no changing away from the utility. There's no added fees that you have to pay. This number of 12,799 would simply replace the 14,074. And as somebody indicated earlier, it's about a $2,500 savings, which I would agree is not huge, but it's about 10% less than the Dunstable Community Power Rate. So a lot of that savings is relative to the spend, and when we're looking at Dunstable's load, we know that there's no schools involved, so it's only about 12 accounts that the town is directly responsible for. But still a 10% savings, and in my opinion, a pretty easy decision for you folks if you're looking at it from $10.
Yeah, not a lot of questions for me. I think it's an opportunity to save some money.
We're trying to, unturn any, all
Yeah.
the rocks there to try to find anything we can. This is one way that we're able to find savings, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, where most of our utilities are increased, we're seeing increases, this is the way we can save. We did, just for your information, Brian also went out to market for natural gas, if I got that right, and, the rates were not as desirable, so we're not moving forward with that at the moment. At some point in the future, it may make more sense, but right now it doesn't, so.
We decided we would hold on until the utility releases their winter pricing to make a better decision on natural gas, just because the offers that came in are above what they charge currently and above what they charged last winter. So if we can't find anything that's worth reducing costs, it's probably not worth it.
Yeah.
Unless everybody believes that prices for natural gas are just gonna skyrocket if we want to lock in anyways, my recommendation was to hold.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
We have all the buildings, we have the pump station,
Yeah, we have all our.
7-Eleven Main,
Yep, they are in the accounts,
are they on here?
I believe there were 12 rules elected.
yeah.
Library is part of that too?
Yeah.
Nice.
So the current national grid rate, so Dunstable has 12 accounts, 11 of them are considered a G1 or small rate class. One of them is a G2. So about 80% of the usage is on the G1 rate class. And that rate through January 26th is 14,411. January's price is 21.7 cents.
that's crazy.
So I think it's an indication that rates are only going to go up as we go forward, especially once the winter season comes.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a no-brainer.
yeah.
I got a question. And I don't know if this is Brian or not, but 7-Eleven Main Street is a pump station. And it pumps water to a tank and it goes to the town, right? And it's on this list. has there been, and I don't know if this is you, Brian, has there been any consideration to putting in power factor correction capacitors? Or is that totally outside of your realm?
That's certainly not anything we're looking at here. I don't know if the usage is high enough to go forward with a project like that. You know, I don't know which count it is off the top of my head, but that is certainly not anything that we've explored to this point yet.
Yeah, NRG does a pretty fair amount of that. That particular, I know, but this is a cost issue. That particular site is an inductive load to motor load, right? And so its power factor is around 73%, which is not that great. And a correction capacitor in there would bring that power factor into unity, and you'd get a savings out of it. I just don't know. It's obviously, this is simply just looking at consumption rates, right?
Right, I think what you're referring to would probably have a bigger impact on the distribution and delivery side of the bill.
They're doing a lot of work over there, Ron, now. Is that not part of what they're doing?
No, that's okay. Well, I'm all right. I'm fine. I'll have a discussion with a couple of others about that. The motor load is terrible. It's killing that power factor, and you're paying for that.
What number is that on the sheet that I sent over?
It's 711 Main.
Let me look at this when I get back in front of my computer and I go over the bill, 711 me. I'll let you know if I think there's anything there.
Well, it's
Number 5, it's number 5 on the list, Brian.
Perfect.
so, and then if I were to look at this, right, with the 10,000 foot view, right? Are we going to be coming off of the aggregators and we're gonna be going directly with these guys?
Just the municipal building.
Just the municipal buildings?
The rest of the town stays on Dunstable Power.
Okay. And then the only issue that would come up is people would say, you get a better deal for the municipal buildings than you do for the aggregation plan.
It's because of our load. It's just because of,
Usage.
because of our usage.
Okay, as long as we can explain that away.
Profile, but more importantly, remember, town aggregation is very unpredictable in terms of who's gonna supply power. It's an opt-out program.
Yes,
You have customers coming and going at any point in time, so there's a premium built into that. So that's not to say the town doesn't have a good rate, because it does. It's lower than national grids. But yeah, when you look at a specific profile for town accounts, which is using, almost 205,000 kilowatt hours a year, there's no residents that's using anywhere close to that.
right.
So, the options are gonna be far limited compared to that.
It's mining Bitcoin and we don't know about it.
Yeah.
Harold, do you have a question?
We get credits from the Charlie George landfill, or we not, what happens to them? Does that affect this at all?
We do,
We get
I'm gonna
credit
let
from a
Brian-
solar farm.
yeah, I'm gonna
In
let
town.
Brian, I thought this might come up. Brian, do you wanna,
How does that affect
Take
it?
Absolutely. And I'm glad this came up because should the town decide that they want to move forward with Freedom, one of the things that I'll be happy to help you with is finding a way to utilize these net metering credits. So to answer your question, no, this will have zero impact on your net metering agreement. That will continue as is, and there's no change in service, no disruption in anything. You are absolutely allowed to do both. Now, when I was reviewing the invoices, Jason and I had a conversation about how they have started to accrue negative balances. So when you get your National Grid bill, you don't owe any money because there's a negative balance there. And this is a result of the net metering agreement producing more solar credits than the town has available usage to consume. So basically, you're getting a $2,000 credit on a $1,000 bill. So what happens is that starts to accrue negative balances, and you are by far not the only town that I have run into that's had this exact same issue. And one of the ways that we can look at utilizing these is partnering with like Mass State and doing maybe a deferred maintenance project where they will do on-bill financing. So if you've got one of your accounts that owes, negative $30,000, for example, we could do a $50,000 project, and $30,000 of that would be automatically taken off the bill as a way to not only utilize the credits you have, but not lose them, because I don't think you have any available accounts to redistribute these credits to. Because I think you're just in a situation where it's again, the project's working. You're getting credits, it's delivering the savings, you're just oversubscribed.
So, yeah, so the question is, and Brian, we talked about this, is how we want to go about using them and what are our options. So he's thankfully willing to help us with figuring all that out too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, Mass Save has some pretty good deals and incentives. They often pay for a good portion of the project.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a great way to kind of, gobble up your excess credits. And what we could do is shift them all to one account. So all, you can do like a one-time transfer, so all of those negative credits go to one account, then we'll have a very large negative balance that we can chip away at. If you have any types of, like I said, deferred maintenance projects or something you'd like to improve or upgrade in one of those.
The highway crash,
Oh, this, yeah.
winterize it.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cold in there in the winter. We have one more question from an audience member.
We have some
Harold?
questions here.
And who's gonna oversee this? The town got burned a number of years ago before we had a town administrator. We had signed up for some program like this, and it rolled over, and when it rolled over to a new term, it was at a much higher rate than what National Grid was offering at the time.
What was the name of that company, Harold? I remember
I
that.
think it was something to do with solar, wasn't it?
And I did, and I remember that issue with that, well, now you bring it up, it rolled over and we were in shock over the,
Right, well, it's kind of like a CD, you get a notice from the bank when you have a CD that's gonna roll over, you get, like 10 days
The higher
to
rate, yeah.
do something about it. Well, who's gonna oversee this if we do it? And make sure that,
he is.
Good thing he's on a 4-year contract.
Yeah, what, I don't understand what happened again? Tell me what happened again?
We got skunked.
Yeah.
Really? On what?
We weren't paying attention.
Yeah,
I think what happens is when a supply agreement expires.
Right.
A supplier does not willingly put you back to National Grid unless they've been told to do so.
oh,
So what happens is.
Oh.
It's like a balance transfer on a credit card. For 12 months, you're dealing with the API.
got it.
Free trial.
I got it.
Free trial.
Yeah.
Very much compared to what you were not only paying before, but in some cases what the utility.
Gotcha.
So
Okay,
just to address this concern, working with Freedom means that you will now be working with our municipal team. And we will inform you not only when your contract's about to expire, but I'm going to approach you when the market's in a better spot to look at your next term, because you're actually able to purchase your electricity agreements 24 months in advance of the start date. So what I mean by that is, let's hypothetically say we lock in at 12.8 cents. 18 months from now, the market takes a nosedive, and we could buy another 18 or 24-month term at 11 cents. I would contact you and say, I think it's worth looking at. Here's some renewal quotes, and then it's up to you guys to decide, well, we can kind of continue on with our plan and see how rates look at the end, or we can take a guaranteed savings now, lock up our rate at the lowest price, and we know when that new agreement begins, we're going to spend less money regardless of what the market will be doing.
okay.
Okay.
That's a good question.
John?
It sounds like this is quite a bit of savings over the current energy program we just started with. How come this isn't available to everybody and it's only available to municipalities or to
Yeah, well,
town buildings?
I think
I mean, I guess-
as you mentioned, it's because the usage of the town is, as an individual, like, user, would be higher than any household would be. And also, there's an unpredictability of the residences, it being an opt-out, that people can either opt in or opt out at any random time. So they sort of build into that little bit higher price, some sort of a premium, so that they're still making a little bit of money, even though it's a lower rate than what National Grid is doing. Is that,
I think so.
Kind of what
I mean,
he was
I guess
saying?
the other thing I would add to that is, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but anyone can go and test the market on electricity supply. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, if there was a better option for an individual homeowner, they do have the right to sign individual supply contracts with suppliers, is my understanding.
There's an app, Arbor is a really good one that you see like on Instagram and Facebook, and you can click it and you can enter your address and you
Yeah.
can bump, your rate that you get with National Grid or Unitil, whoever provides your electricity, and you can compare it to what they may have to offer you.
Yeah,
And it could be, a 12-month, 18-month, 36-month term. It's not a bad idea to always consider, like, looking for
Yeah.
insurance, health insurance or auto insurance. There's always different rates out there for different supply and opportunities. So,
I mean, in this case, we're probably getting a better rate than what an individual homeowner would get because of the use that we have versus a single family home, for instance. But anyone has the right to do it.
Yeah, you can choose your own supplier, you just have to do the research.
Almost a little sad, but it's a classic case of the rich get richer, right? Nobody wants to supply Tony's Pizza. Everybody wants to supply the city of Cambridge. So when you've done a lot of usage, you become more desirable to the suppliers, they make more money on the deal, they're more willing to go out and work to win that business versus a single homeowner trying to call around and find a competitive rate for the house.
Yeah,
So
I
when
get it.
aggregating towns, I look, like I said, with a lot of cities in Massachusetts, I think I even sent Jason the list of our active customers. Not one of them purchases power off their community choice aggregation, but they all have one.
yeah, thank you.
Alright.
okay,
Oh, I think it's a good idea.
I do too.
Agreed.
Well explained.
Yeah.
We all set?
Yeah, nice little motion there in the back page, so.
Move to authorize the town administrator to sign an electricity supply contract for municipal buildings and facilities for no longer than 3 years, and as long as the program price is lower than the current Dunstable Community Power Residential Basic Service price.
Second.
Any further discussion? No? All's in favor?
Aye.
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 Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Brian,
Brian.
thank you very much.
All right, Jason, I'll be in touch with you at some point tomorrow. We'll set up the final bid date for available next to the agreement. What we traditionally do is send the bids over by 11 along with the recommendations. I will then request, review, and send you the supply agreement, assuming all the terms and conditions are in line with our expectations. You'll have until 3 o'clock that afternoon to execute a DocuSign and get it back.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all very much. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
Take care.
All right. Moving on, bandstand repairs contract. So we had, what, 3 bids
Yeah.
come in?
So we received 3 bids.
Quite a difference between.
Yeah. C&K Roofing is the low bid. It is right under what we have remaining in the earmark, so it's right within budget.
We had a remaining amount of like close to 30,000,
It's
right?
like 28.
28,000.
28, I think, yeah, so it's right under that. So we are in good shape to get the project going. It's to install roof caps on the seams of the roof, the hips of the roof. Replacing the lattice, light fixtures, and doing a little painting.
Any concerns about the difference between the bid numbers there?
I talked to the vendor, I checked their references, it all checked out. So we saw it with the library project too, and it was,
Yeah.
The numbers were huge, yeah.
yeah.
And so C&K Roofing, he's gonna do the lighting?
Yeah.
Was there a file sub bid?
Light fixture replacement.
No? Okay.
No, it's not.
And there's, that, to Karen's point, this pricing matrix scares the daylights out of me. And we don't have a lot of contingency money,
No.
or if C&K somehow says, I screwed my job up, and does he have a bid bond? No?
No,
Probably
it's
not
just
enough.
not, it's not the size.
Yeah.
Contract. He'll have a, does he have a payment bond?
Probably not
but we-
that
I
number.
think it's even, yeah.
If we were to toss him, the next one is 30 grand more. So we wouldn't
No
be able
job.
to do the project.
Yeah, I mean, I have been in contact with him,
Yeah.
they're ready to go.
The fact that you got two others that are so close to each other, and you got him, he's 50% of their number, boy, I'd be waking up at night. But if you've vetted the guy out, and he's got all his, I mean, there's no addendums he missed or any of that stuff, right?
No.
I don't,
I'll communicate with him one more time.
you checked out his
I
references.
did, yeah, all
I mean,
three.
no, I don't scare the guy away, I mean, because if that, does he know these numbers? Does he know the spread?
I sent it to all.
Yeah.
So he knows the
They,
spread.
they all
And he
have,
has no issue,
he's excited to get to it.
oh, Christ, let's sign this guy up.
All right, let's do it.
Move to approve a contract with C&K Roofing Incorporated in the amount of $27,513 for the purpose of making repairs to the town common bandstand and authorize the chair to sign the contract on behalf of the board.
Second.
Further discussion? None, all's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Woodward's no bad?
No, actually, the next up is the classification concept. That's the second, separate document.
Hmm.
Let me get this into a view that I remember, sorry. Just gonna walk through this very quickly. So, as you know, we received a $20,000 best practices community compact grant to conduct a compensation and classification study. We contracted with UMass Boston Collins Center to do the work. The work included updates to our job descriptions. They looked at grading positions. They did a salary survey and compensation review. And while they're not doing the implementation, that wasn't part of their scope. They've been helping me through that process. So job descriptions were updated. The process, I think, was a good one. And I thank Sue for helping to spearhead this. They initially issued a questionnaire. There were interviews conducted with most employees, not all. Based on both of those things, they were position descriptions developed. They were then submitted to us for final review, incorporated feedback, and finalized the descriptions. They, what happened? It's not good. I get a new computer and everything goes haywire.
Yeah, we need to get it.
Because it's a big pad, it's not a down.
I love Lenovo.
Um,
I love ThinkPads. Had it for a while.
Is that Lenovo? Used to be IBM, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have it in front of us here, so.
Okay, sorry about that. So, there we go. So, they also looked at how positions were classified. They use a variety of characteristics for each job too. And they do this in a lot of communities, so it's kind of a plug and play model that they have at this point. So, based on the rating of each of these characteristics, they grade each position. Compensation, so they do a salary survey. We received 12 responses. Those are the communities that responded to our survey. So we had a decent sized pool of communities that were able to look at when developing our ranges. They also listed these challenges. I'm not going to go through each one, but because Dunstable is a small community, and has a lot of part-time staff and also different responsibilities based on our size. To find comps sometimes can be a bit of a challenge. So based on all their work, these are the recommended salary ranges based on grade. So implementation, the Collins Center best practice, their recommendation is a 30% range from minimum to maximum step. I looked at a 10 and 15 step schedule. I landed on a 10-step schedule. So there's 30% range, 10 steps, there's 3% between each step. Employee placement on the schedule is always kind of a tricky thing. So the recommended approach is to look at the higher but closest step to people's current hourly rate and to place them on that step. And then recommendation is for employees to advance every 2 years. This gives you kind of a comparison between what we have now and what is being recommended. I should say what we're looking at right now. I don't want to be as strong as recommended, but right now the range in steps between minimum and maximum is between 19 and 20%. I think the intent was to be the 20%, so it's close to 20 in each one. Again, the recommended range is 30%. Current step schedule is 10 steps with 2% increases. The recommendation is 10 steps with 3% increases. And current schedule, there's advancement every 3 years with 2% step. The recommendation is for every 2 years with 3% step. So I was asked to do my best to do a cost projection and forecast. Please don't hold me to these numbers. I did my best, but these will not be on the money. This is my best estimate. And this is over a 6-year period. I just took an average. This is my best estimate on cost difference. And so a few other highlights. So there are 3 current employees that make their hourly rate is higher than the highest step in their grade. What that means is obvious, but I'll say it. It means that they won't receive another step. They'll just receive the COLA on any given year. Mm-hmm. At least one employee, there may be more, but at least one employee's job title, after kind of reviewing everything, just doesn't match the position. So we may need to look at least one job position and rework the title and responsibilities. There are 4 employees that have pay rates that are less than the lowest step in their grade. And there are also 10 positions with recommended title changes that they gave us. That's basically an overview. In your packet, you also have the report, the final report that was put together by the Collins Center. And I believe you have the proposed schedule. I'm sorry, not the proposed schedule, but you do have the ranges and also the 10-step and the 15-step schedule in your packet. So, so I guess the decision point, I'm going to get that up here. To implementation. These are really the decision points. The range, the amount of steps, how folks will be placed on the new schedule, and how people will advance on the new schedule.
So every 3 years with the 3% step, they'd also be getting a 2% COLA, if that's.
Yeah. Yes.
And
So so on those years that someone received a step, assuming the COLA is 2%, It doesn't have to be, but assume that's what it has been. Assuming it done, they will get they will get 5 total.
And just from a big picture view, and maybe the Collins Center is the best source of information for this, are a lot of municipalities doing this? Or are we sort of leading a charge here within the market basket of comparable towns and just like the state of Mass in general? I think that's probably important for the public to know why this is important. And if other groups are doing this, other towns are doing this type of exercise.
It's something that's done in communities
We've
on
done it.
a
We've done it
regular
before,
basis.
yeah.
I know that right now, the towns of Groton and Peckrell are in the middle of it, doing the same thing, and I think at least one of them is working with the Collins Center.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a best practice. It hasn't been done for a little while now, so it's definitely.
We
time.
haven't done it for a while.
Yeah. So it's definitely time to do it, there's no doubt about that. And implementation, there are options. The option that I talked about is the one based on the recommendation in many conversation with the Collins Center is based on, the recommendation is based on those 2 things. But those could change based on the board's opinion on it. So I don't think to be frank, I don't think I'm ready to ask for a vote on this. If you could kind of give it some more thought, because I have a few things I still need to look at in terms of timing on implementation and making sure that what we have budgeted this year is going to be able to support the implementation and kind of working that out. And also just know that I've started the forecast for next year. And just know that the first year of budgeting the new schedule, I've kind of plugged in the numbers that I looked at based on this presentation. You're going to see a higher increase than you're going to see moving forward, just because it's the start of the new schedule. So people receive, if we do it, people will have received 2% increase this year, and then they're going to see an adjustment this year. So on top of the 2%, they'll see some sort of adjustment. And then next year, they're going to see 2% on the adjusted rate.
Right.
So it's
Plus the step potentially.
plus potential steps.
Yeah.
So next year, we are going to, if we are to do this, next year, we will see a higher increase.
Yeah.
Than we
Initially, and then it should
than we
level
want.
out, yeah.
Okay. And then, just for process wise, is this, in the event that we vote on it down the road as a board, would you have a public forum to share it with the residents per se, like a night?
Good idea.
I mean, I wouldn't,
Well, the part of me in transparency would be, I would want the public to know. Like,
Well,
I want
this
them to know it all,
This is part of it right now.
but we're not taking a vote tonight.
Well, correct, but still, we are still openly discussing this.
I agree, I wouldn't necessarily have a public forum for this sort of a thing, it's a management issue, and it's at this table for that, and, everybody would have something to say about it, and it would just,
Yeah.
I don't know, I
So
don't.
I like airing the grievances out on TV for everybody to look at in
Yeah.
person, face to face, rather than silo it based on Facebook and coming into Jason's office or the town administrator's office and giving people an earful. I'd rather us take the earful than.
we could, I don't know that I'd have a standalone, it doesn't strike me as appropriate to have a standalone, public
Discussion.
forum on this, but maybe next time it's on the agenda, if you'd like to promote it as such, like, hey, this is an opportunity, we're reviewing this is what it is, this is the work that's been done. It's kind of the same thing.
Well, it's the story to
Inviting
tell,
people
and
to come and look at it.
Wouldn't it be covered during the budget anyway,
Yeah, I think it's coming up now, will come up at a future select board meeting, will come up at budget meetings, come up at town meeting, yeah, all of that, yeah.
And does advisory board get a chance to review this and bake it out as well from there? FinCom viewpoint?
Advisory board's going to have to, because the way we set this up is within the FinCom budget, we had a salary reserve of $10,000 to fund a new compensation plan.
Yeah,
And by the way, that was discussed during budget, throughout the process too. And so in order for us to access the 10,000 reserve of, advisory is gonna have to approve the transfer of funds from that account.
Yep.
To the individual salary lines.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think, you're starting to see the state projections aren't coming in as people thought. So budget numbers are gonna get real punchy again.
It's never gonna be easy.
Yeah.
Yes, Joe?
Is this system similar to the system that the school district uses?
I don't know what system the school district uses, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they.
The steps and lanes and all that?
No, so we don't have lanes, we just, right now, it's no different, I mean, we have a step schedule in place now. It's in place now, it's just outdated. And it hasn't been updated.
Since Tracy Hutton was here.
Okay, so it's been a while. So the idea is to update the schedule, to make it more more competitive.
Current.
Make it current, make it modern, yes, yeah. And so that's what the Collins Center, that's the work they did. So these are, now, to be fair, the Collins Center did not make recommendations on implementation.
Mhm.
They made recommendations on what the range of salary should be for each grade. So I do want to be clear about that. We, the board, can implement this or not, but implement it however you'd like. I mean, you could do a 15-step rather than a 10. You could do steps every 3 years rather than 2 years. My thing with the steps was, if we do a 3-year step on a 10-year schedule, someone's not gonna, you gotta be here 30 years to get to the top step. To me, that doesn't make any sense. I could be wrong, but that doesn't make sense. So, anyway, we're not voting on, no vote or anything like that. I just wanted to give the overview tonight, for purposes of transparency.
Yeah.
And
this is essentially remedies. We used to have a wage, what was the name of that board?
Personnel board.
Personnel board. That board is now out the door, right?
Yeah,
Based on our handbook and
they don't
everything else?
exist.
Doesn't exist.
it still is in our bylaw. We should
In the
change,
bylaw.
we should change the bylaw, but they're not appointed, there's no members of the
There's no
board.
members, there's no meetings.
Just so it's like
Yeah,
someone
we
could
should
point to it and be like,
Consider that, yeah.
but it should be.
Yeah.
Struck through, basically. So that's,
Yes, absolutely.
no, it's good. It's a good study. I mean, they did really nice work.
Yeah.
What you guys did was very thoughtful and informative, so
All right.
That's it.
you have a hand up in the crowd.
Okay.
Just wondering if you have an extra copy of that, or if you could send me a copy of that.
It's right. We'll send it, it's on the website, we'll send it to you.
Oh, okay, it's on the website.
Yeah,
I'll send you the link, Joe.
What?
I'll send you the link.
Okay, thank you.
and I wanted to give the presentation to the select board first, but I also wanna sit down with the staff and I'm gonna send them everything and all that too. But I wanted to do this first before I got into that, so,
Good. Well, thank you.
Cool.
Good start.
thanks.
Okay, next up, we have the Woodward Mill Dam repair. So I think there's
So,
a hole in the raceway that needs to be repaired.
that's about it.
Yeah.
That's it. This is for the engineering portion of the work. So we received a proposed task order from Hoyle Tanner. It's $9,900 for the engineering.
And this money is coming from CPA,
This
which
is
has already been
CPA.
appropriated,
We've
approved by town.
$25,000 appropriation from town meeting, yes. So I had been going back and forth with them on the scope of work. I think I sent you the emails on that, so there was some revision on the scope of work to get the price down a bit, because I was just concerned that we'd run out of budget on the construction piece, part of the project, so we got under 10, so.
Is this a dam that's worth having like the Division of Ecological Restoration look at in the future?
So they did initially, that's one of the reasons we did the phase 2 assessment.
Yeah.
We applied for, I don't know if I sent you the response we received, but we did apply for the dam repair,
Dam and seawall?
dam and seawall,
Yeah.
yes, dam and seawall, repair grant. And unfortunately, we didn't get we weren't awarded the grant, so, right now I'm working with NEMCOG to apply for another federal grant to try to get some design money for the larger project.
Yeah.
This is trying to piece it together until then.
Yeah. Giddy up. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna do it.
Right,
It's
can
gonna-
be done, and if CPA has the money set aside, undesignated funds, I assume, right, or restoration?
I forget if it was, I think it was undesignated
It's
funds.
yeah,
I think it was.
What's that for the,
For the dam?
yeah.
I think so.
All right, I move to approve a task order with Hoyle Tanner in the amount of $9,990 for the purposes of design, bid, and construction administration support for repairs to Woodward's Mill Dam, and authorize the chair to sign the task order on behalf of the board.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Good. The Union Building. So this is for the interior. We put out requests for qualifications to start doing some work on the inside of the building. And of the, 14 or so people that took out the bid package, we only had one response submitted to us, so. Yeah. I guess that makes the choice easy if we
What's up with that?
choose to go with it, but.
I mean, it's.
Well, that's unusual.
I mean, I think it was I think it ended up being 18
18,
firms,
wow.
and we received one bid. Now, fortunately, it was from the firm we're currently working with, and we've had good experience.
GNAP?
Yeah,
Mm,
so that's good news, but as part of the designer services procedures that the board adopted, we need to, the board needs to designate a selection committee. So that's the next step in the process, so hoping that, last time the Union Building Rehab Committee played that role, so I thought it made sense for them to do so again.
That's probably easiest, yeah.
If that group, if everyone's on board with the interior, so there's legwork, right? I mean, it's not an easy process, even though you have one response, so it makes it a little simpler, I guess.
Well, we still need to make sure that we feel that they're qualified to do,
Yeah.
you know, this one, we want them.
So it's an RFP or a request for proposals, right? So we,
This is RFQ, just for
RFQ.
qualifications,
qualifications.
Yeah.
to make sure that the people that are going to put in bids are qualified to do so.
Yeah. Did we get any feedback from other groups that to say, hey, this is a crazy project, and any sort of guiding parameters for why no one else responded?
I did not, no, nothing.
did Josh apply for, request an RFQ? Josh Kelly, the guy who's
Oh,
looking at the
The fire station?
fire station?
No.
Just wondering.
I mean,
All right, move to designate
I wish we had another.
the members of the Union Building Rehabilitation Committee as the Designer Services Evaluation and Selection Committee to discuss the designer selection process for the interior interior design of the Union Building School.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So we'll call a meeting for that. Okay. Next up. Employee team building.
So this is one of my wacky ideas, but, as you know, we've partnered with the Greater Low YMCA to have access to Camp Massapog, for the beach days we held over the summer. They also have a ropes course, at Camp Massapog. And so, I was wanting to ask the board if they would consider allowing us to close early one day, for us to do a team building, activity on the ropes course at Camp Massapog.
A ropes course.
Mhm.
Can you be a little more explicit?
It's a ropes course.
Huh?
It's a ropes course.
I don't understand.
You know, like trust falls and all
Like
that
rope
stuff.
Ron, I'll go there
ladders,
too. You wanna do it?
If you, if, by the-
No, I
if the
rope
select
walk
board wants to
and
come, I would love
I
for the
would
board.
love to
We
do
do
that.
it 17.
I would love for the board to join us.
I would go for sure.
I would
When
love-
is it?
I would love-
When are you
It is,
planning?
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
September 17th.
Yes.
if you can come, that would be amazing.
You all excited about that soon?
Am I excited about it?
I am.
It'll be fun. I'm not
Come
excited
on, it'll
about
be
the
fun.
ropes, but I'm excited about the team building.
That'll be fun.
I always just think of The Office when the guy put that big like sumo costume on and just floating around the lake. So good. Someone could do that.
You can do that. You can put
Floating
you in that and float
floating
around
around
Massapog.
And so the camp director, right, is it? the
Yes.
Camp director is going to be there and help us.
He's gonna facilitate.
He's gonna
that.
facilitate, so it's gonna be fun.
So what time are you thinking of doing this?
I don't, so what time are we, was it 12:30 to?
So, yeah, we said 12:30 to 2:30, with the rain date of September 24th.
Okay.
Is this mandatory participation?
Yes, including all, members of
Oh,
board.
Yeah.
All the boards.
I generally don't make, I try not to make trainings and stuff mandatory, but I like people to do this. I think it's gonna be fun.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that you want.
No,
I'll stop with that.
People will have different
Absolutely.
participation, you know.
I move to approve closing town hall on Wednesday, September 17th, no earlier than 12 PM for the purposes of an employee team building activity.
Second.
Any further discussion? All
Can
those in
people
favor?
just come and watch?
Yes. You're only obligated to
Absolutely
climb one
not.
rope.
John, I'll give you a camera.
Oh, I love
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right. Ooh, that'll be fun.
Thank you.
Okay, another interesting topic of conversation here is prohibiting the issuance of electrical permits to unlicensed homeowners. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
This is an issue that came up, I think we talked at our last meeting about the, meeting we had with the inspectional team about some properties that we had issues, that we were dealing with. So, this had been mentioned to me a little while ago, but it was brought up again by the electrical inspector about, how the town of Dunstable currently will issue electrical permits to homeowners that aren't licensed. And that is allowed under the law. But it is also, municipalities are also allowed to have stricter regulations and policies if we choose to. So,
So that's gonna be like a home rule thing, right? If we choose to do this.
You mean like, no, it doesn't have to be all done. We have the flexibility, the board has the flexibility to make this decision. And you don't have to do it tonight if you want to give it a little more thought, because there hasn't been a ton of discussion about it. But Peter Martin brought it to my attention. Sue did some research on how other communities deal with it. They're included in this kind of FAQ, I guess. And most all of the towns that were easily, this information was easily found, require a master's licensed electrician of the electric department. So I figured it was worth at least bringing to your attention, and it's worth you considering changing the policy. Given the risk, the liability, with just electrical work in general, and what could happen if the work wasn't done properly.
Is this what's highlighted is what would be proposed?
No, I don't know why.
It reads very strangely and
That's
having a
the
hard
law.
time figuring
Yeah,
out what they're actually
that's the
saying here.
law, but
We'll figure
I don't know
it out.
why, I don't know why that portion's highlighted. to be honest with you.
It does,
If I could point out the Carlisle guidelines,
Oh,
they're the most kind of friendly, right? So you can apply for a permit, but then you need to get a letter from your homeowner's insurance stating that the insurance company is aware that they're gonna be doing their own electrical work.
Oh, wow, interesting.
But yeah, so, I mean, that's gonna deter everybody.
and then they probably won't cover you if you electrocute yourself.
Right.
So,
They just could do the work on their own and
yeah,
say, "I'll be,"
not even get a permit.
right, just wing it.
Or if you just say, no.
So many
So
options.
the only thing,
Too oyster.
so I got a couple of things, all right? I'm okay with moving this forward. And just for the sake of clarity, all right? When a homeowner takes out a wiring permit and the electrical inspector goes and does that work, all right? There's a misunderstanding and a misconception that the electrical inspector signed off on my work, everything's gonna be okay. That's not how that is, okay? Electrical inspector's giving you a cursory review and a complying with the code, and then he signs that. But, there was an event in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where there was a stove not wired correctly, and the lady grabs the faucet and the stove pot at the same time and electrocuted herself, and that was a fatality, all right? And the deal was Portsmouth approved the work. No, they didn't. The work got done by her husband who wired the stove, so it's neither here nor there. I agree with this, but I did send this off to you.
Oh, yeah, the pending legislation.
Yeah, I don't know, because I stopped, that excerpt came from Mass Electrical Contractors, and I'm a member of that group, all right? I don't know if House Bill 147 is good or bad.
Well, I don't have it with me, but I did look at, there's an updated, I think that was from a prior session.
It might have been.
There is a bill though filed, which I'm assuming is identical, which is now, it looked like a Senate bill, not a House bill, but anyway, it's neither here nor there. But it's in committee, it doesn't look like it's moved.
So this doesn't have any traction to it, is what you're saying, other than the
Nothing.
fact someone's put it out there and said, but ideally, we tonight with this are going to go against this bill if this bill ever becomes law. I don't know.
What
maybe
that-
it'll get buried in study for the next 30 years.
What is?
So that bill would require communities to issue permits to homeowners.
Yeah.
That's what that bill.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, this bill says it's an act relative to clarifying homeowners' rights to perform electrical work. It amends General Law 143 by prohibiting the inspector of wires from rejecting a permit application from an applicant who is not a licensed electrician if the property indicated on the application is the applicant's resident and the applicant is the owner of the property and the property is a single-family home. So whether or not this ever went anyplace, I don't know, but I do understand Peter Martin's position. He is not, I mean, someone could hang that guy out to dry all the town. I don't know. There's no history with it about, well, you told me that light was okay. I didn't know the paddle fan could fall out of the ceiling during the middle of the night and land us laying in the bed, right? Because those things happen.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with this. Watch out for that. And I completely support Peter's effort here. It's completely on point. It's to let a homeowner do their own electric work. And I have a bias, okay, but I've seen a lot of it over the years. And yeah, the paddle fan fell out of the guy's ceiling and landed on the husband and wife that was sleeping at 2 a.m. while it was still spinning. So, and that's
Peter says it's like a 2 to 3 times a year occurrence.
here.
Here, yes, just to give you some sense of the magnitude of it.
So I'm gonna move that all electrical permits issued by the town to be obtained by a Massachusetts licensed electrician and all electrical work be performed by a Massachusetts licensed electrician without exception for all homeowners.
Second,
Any further discussion?
do we want to hear from, again, thinking about your comment about the pushback there, as someone who's replaced his own outlets before, like,
Yeah,
Do we wanna hear
I
from
have-
them?
I mean,
but it scares me and I won't do it.
No,
anymore.
because you get a homeowner and you know what, I'm gonna tell you, you can make a mistake, okay? You can put an outlet in and you could clearly, outlets are polarized, right? So you could clearly reverse those conductors and the homeowner put the plug in and say, that's all set, don't worry about it. And then they go plug the vacuum cleaner in, they get electrocuted out of it. So, you know, everyone thinks they're an electrician and it's, you know, someone said to me, home wiring is common sense. Yeah, I'd take issue with that. But I would prefer that we not let homeowners take their own permits out because of the risk of it. And that's just the way I feel about it. I've seen it.
can I walk you through a scenario here? So Massachusetts is going to require that you have a home inspection done now as a quality of your offer for buying a new house. So if, Ron, you're selling your house and you have an accepted offer, you have a home inspection, and they say you got to replace all your outlets in your kitchen with GFCI outlets, and you got 2 weeks to do it.
Mhm.
How is, like, you know that world, like, it's almost impossible to get someone to come out in 2 weeks to do that work. And it is something you could do on your own.
But if you do it incorrectly, I mean,
There's not enough tradespeople around to actually support this need, though.
but at the risk of,
When you put a ground fault outlet in, there is a device that you have to set into the outlet
Yeah.
to test its functionality. How many homeowners have that and understand it? I don't know.
It's about a 10-minute video on YouTube as someone who's done it.
well, see, that's why people are doing all this stuff because of YouTube. They can do
But I mean,
whatever
it's
without-
but I mean, it's also you could be slowing someone down from,
I know, but think about the person that's buying the house and the guy did his own wiring and the connection's loose and they plug the coffee pot in and it starts a fire in the wall.
I wouldn't trust it.
I wouldn't want that. As soon as I heard, if someone was doing electrical work in my house and they didn't have a license, see ya. Because the license doesn't guarantee that their work's gonna be perfect, but it certainly gives you more comfort that the guy or the girl who's doing the work understands what they've gotta do to make that. And how many people test those ground faults with that trip device? How many people even own one?
but we're also not going back in time with our electrical inspector to go through any permits that were opened and closed. Okay,
It's only forward,
moving forward.
yeah.
Yeah, and I seconded it, so I'm just trying to, the hypothetical and the pushback that you could get from residents.
I'm sure there will be, but, you know,
And literally, there's just not enough tradespeople out there that are licensed. We're running the New Hampshire line, so a New Hampshire electrician can't necessarily come into Mass and do work either.
Well, they're not supposed to.
well, if they were a New
Mass
Hampshire
license.
person appropriately applying for a permit, you know, following the proper
Yeah.
channels, would they be allowed to do it? without a mass license. Anyway,
Yeah, but I mean, just like, you know, if you just watch like the Facebook and Nextdoor threads, these are the questions people ask, and it's always like, oh, call Jimmy's Electricity, you know? Jimmy comes and does it, doesn't go to the town hall, and just,
Yeah.
so be it.
well, that's, I mean, and I'm sure that's happening for some stuff. People just aren't applying for permits, period. They just do the work themselves.
And I guess I would also stretch this out into other permits that we issued for gas, septic, plumbing.
I think most septic systems, the homeowner's probably not doing it, but they could do plumbing and gas. Whether or not, I don't know that exists with gas and plumbing.
Plumbing, you can't do.
No, I don't think you can. I'll give you that.
I thought
I'll look
plumbing,
into it.
I always
I'm
found
pretty
it
sure you
strange that you could
But I'll-
for electricity, but not for plumbing, when the electricity is way more dangerous, in my opinion.
Well, and I guess it goes back to then Peter's role as the electrical inspector is heightened now because he's going to be working with said contractors on any homeowner's work that was done.
No.
Now his liability doesn't increase?
No.
Okay.
No, this is in fact, you know, Peter has insurance. We all do, I do. And he just doesn't want to get hit with something. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
The way he described it to me is that, he's talked to other inspectors.
Yeah.
And other inspectors have given him advice that we don't do that, well, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
And so I think he wanted to bring it to the board, to my attention, to the board's attention, because he was getting that feedback, and it made him question whether or not we should be doing it. That was, I think that was how it came about.
Okay,
All right. I mean,
you
just-
ready for a vote?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okey-doke.
I'd be curious to emphasize the importance of proper inspections and things like that for all our departments.
Yep.
Board of Health,
Yep.
plumbing, gas, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
Okay, next up, consideration of waiver of building permit fees for the 12 affordable units at the MCO cottages at the Munt District. So that would be 12 out of the 48.
Yes, that is, I just wanted to put it on the agenda. It's a ZBA decision.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of this when the process started, but they do have the authority to waive permit fees, local fees. MCO has requested that building permit fees for the 12 affordable units be waived, and also water connection fees. So,
For the affordable only, the water connection fees for the 12.
For the entire project.
that's what I thought.
That's the way it's
It's on
worded
this
is
list.
for the project.
Yeah, for the project, so the water connection fees
The water
for the entire project. So at the last ZBA hearing, members said they wouldn't mind getting feedback from the oversight boards. So, because building falls under select board, I figured I'd put it on the agenda, see if there was any opinion or thoughts that you wanted to share with the ZBA.
At any point in time, did we have a discussion with MCO about waiving these?
I don't remember.
Or did we tell them at that time that you gotta pay them?
I don't remember either way, but it's a good question. I don't
So,
recall either way.
Affordable housing asked them if they were going to be asking for any affordable housing money at the time of application, and they declined at that time.
They declined to answer, or they declined to take the money?
They declined money funding at that time because there was about 300 or
Three,
so,
yeah, I think they
350 or something like
indicated
that.
they were not going to be asking.
And they were like, we're not going to be asking for it self-funded per se. I think affordable housing, this feels like light years ago now, like, I think kind of knew there might be a request for some waiver of fees, building fees and such, but there was nothing in writing, nothing, pen to paper.
I don't think so. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I would just ask that we look at what we may have asked or said
I will look at
through the
it.
RFP process.
Yep.
And then the other piece of it that kind of looks to me as though it potentially could be a bigger item is the waiver of water connection fees, right? Who owns the water line? isn't that their job?
I sent that to,
John?
Yeah, I sent it to John, Paul, and, well, I actually sent it to the entire water board.
I mean, that's some, yeah, I mean, the building inspection fees are not really gonna incur a lot of cost, but if we waive the water connection fees, and that line is sitting behind those green boxes right now, all right? It ends there, it's stubbed out for that. Someone's gonna take that line and carry it down to the project. Is he saying he ain't paying for that?
Oh, no, he'll pay for that, for the work. He just doesn't want to pay to connect it to the project. Like, we have, I don't even know what the water connection fees
Yeah.
amount is, but he just doesn't want to pay.
Yeah, it says we propose to pay the meter cost and the installation administrative fee.
So the
But the
water connection,
connection fees. So is that the connection to each unit or the
Yes.
just initial connection?
No,
Each unit.
To each unit.
Yeah.
and like Pepperell is going through this with the big Lorden project behind the VFW, and they got into a monstrous battle over the 180 or so units they put in there.
Mm.
And the Pepperell Water Board, to my understanding, wanted to charge for every single unit. I think their hookup fees like $2,500 a unit. Again, just speculate. I don't know the numbers. Don't quote me on that, but it's some number like that. And the project owner was like, "That's insane." At 180
it's
units,
prohibited at some point.
Yeah.
right?
You can't do it.
Yeah. So then it's gone to Pepperell ZBA, and I think they're going through the meeting process now, like a comprehensive review.
Do we know what our connection fees are?
I was just saying.
It may not even have it set. It's up to the water board.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, look it up.
Get them, and I wouldn't necessarily, Madam Chair, vote on this until we just
Yeah, we
be
gotta,
sure that
Yeah,
we know
okay.
what we got going on here, whether or not there was this discussion through negotiations. It seems like I remember some aspects of that. I just don't remember what we said.
I'll look at the agreements we have in place to see if there's any mention of this. I don't recall it, but I'll confirm that.
if John Hughes or Carol Bacon may have a better, I'm sure they have a better memory than I do, so they may have
Yeah,
a better recollection. Again, they declined taking any funding from affordable housing,
yes.
but I don't remember if there was just,
That's changed.
That's
That
true.
has
that's
changed.
changed
Now
now,
they want,
They want
now they
CPA
want
money.
$300,000.
of course,
Yeah.
because the
So
price of
that was my
construction's through the
question.
roof.
Yeah.
Are they, is this to be over and above the $300,000?
It would be.
Of CPA money that they're already requesting?
Yes,
Yes, it's absolutely,
Yes.
that's exactly how it is. It's over and above that 300 grand, Joe.
yep.
Was that your
That was
question or
my
comment? Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, just the price of doing business now, right? It's like,
So the fee is, it looks like, if I'm reading this right, the connection fee is based on the size of pipe,
Size of the pipe,
system development fee.
but they're rentals, so like each,
it's a 1-inch line.
If it's a 1-inch line, 4,000, I don't know, I don't want to use.
Don't
I'm not
throw
sure.
numbers out there.
I'm not sure.
All right. Okay, so we'll think about this. I mean, we don't have a lot of influence, but we can provide input.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Their next meeting, I think their next hearing is on the 18th of September. Yeah, next week.
do we have any
But-
questions on the permit fees for the building?
I don't know.
I know it's a less intense number than the water, because they're also asking for the 12-unit waiver
Yeah.
for building, it's $500 per building, or whatever, it's $6,000. Right?
I don't know. what-
Our math was a little more than that. We did, but I'd say the range was like 10 to 15
Okay.
total. You think that's fair, Sue?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and honestly, I mean, I mean, the water connection fee is more with, correct me if I'm wrong, but more with the water board, not the select board.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more of the building permit fees, I think that's in our basket. Unless you think otherwise.
No, I don't.
So I'll go back and look at those agreements and make sure that it doesn't state anything, already about that.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, next up, 307 Pleasant Street. Ron, you wanted this one? Did you have something to say about this?
I honestly don't have any words. It's probably, if I were to scope out the town, right, it's probably the most unkept property in the entire town.
There are a few others.
Maybe, but this one is in clear line of sight from everybody, right? And now we have a trailer out there. And it does appear as though there was storm damage where a tree fell and landed on a shed and partly on the house. And, you know, there is, I don't know, there's gotta be 10 cars in the yard. I think one car's piled up on top of the other ones. I mean, at what point does the town take action against this? Here's, you know, Bridget writing him a letter back in April, he's brushed it off, don't worry about it. And, you know, this is a second notice, she's hit them with violations. I mean, the junk car bylaw that we have, it's certainly obvious. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've looked at the house, I think that should be condemned, but that's not my decision, but and maybe they're living in the trailer because they can't live in the house. I don't know, but it is really, it's a mess. It's a mess. And
Not a good
all the
scene.
overgrown brush and there's a tree in the front that's half broken. It's like, oh my, I don't, for the life of me, I don't understand why someone would want to live like that.
Well, maybe they
I don't
don't
get
have
it.
a choice, but.
So I think that we've got to have some sort of a path forward to certainly support Bridget in her letter saying, you guys got to get your act together. I mean, they're just blowing it off. And I just don't see us sitting here and just letting that just keep going the way it's going. But at the same time, I don't know what the cause of action is other than the motor vehicles, right? He's got there's a charge in there and, you know, a cost, and the vehicles need to be removed, and he's just, some of those vehicles have been there for years and years. And we just, how can we let that keep going like that? You know, a couple of people at the concert when I was at, a couple of people said, you know, what are you guys doing about that? Everybody drives by, it's on the main drag. So, that is why I have spoken about this, and, you know, it's just, the place is, I don't even have words for it. I'm afraid to collapse anyway, so.
Well, it's been going on since 93.
Yeah.
92, here we go.
2009, a letter was written to them about following the rules by, at that time, West Goss. You know, they're just basically thumbing their nose at us saying, yeah, we don't have to do anything. Here's Sue Saladakis' letter saying that the place is a public eyesore. Archer Davis, is he still alive, Aaron?
Well,
I mean, he's written them a letter in 1992.
Son Archer.
it's not Archer's story.
Well, what's our recourse here? Just,
Well, you can start finding them every day, $100 a day for each offense, but you have to write out a citation every single day, which you know what's gonna happen with that.
So
It won't get paid, and you try to collect it, you go
We
to
can
court,
lien
they're
it.
not gonna go to court.
We can lean it.
under the bylaw for the junk vehicle bylaw, the next step for the board is to hold a hearing and notify the owners and the abutter, direct the abutters of the hearing. And then if there isn't compliance after the hearing, then there's a variety of things that we can do under the bylaw. Board of Health is pursuing their own enforcement on this accessory trailer.
Yeah.
Front. And,
That's health.
yes, yes. And that's, best of my knowledge, those are the two enforcement avenues that we have right now.
Yeah.
There may be others down the road with building a fire, but right now, those are the two action items. So the select board can consider having a hearing under the bylaw, under the junk vehicle bylaw. And I know that Bridget, like Ron was saying, Bridget has sent 2 letters. And I don't know, to be fair, whether or not she has heard back from the owner from the second letter that was, second notice that was issued. I'm not sure of that.
And there's a registered. Yeah, okay. And, you know, I guess if we're gonna heavily pursue this one, there's probably a couple others in town that we wanna make sure we treat everyone alike, if you will. I know we have a couple other properties that may have some violation type issues, so maybe it's just one of those nights we roll through a couple hearings and, I don't know, right?
I think at the very least, we've got to move forward here with this. I mean, look at all these letters. I mean, these letters,
Well, they're not all pertaining to the same
they're
thing.
not, but nonetheless, what they do identify is the fact that the homeowner is just not gonna do anything the town asks him to do or talk to him about. I mean, this one's from Saladatkas, talking about all the junk and unregistered cars. March 17th, 1992.
Yeah.
Here we are, all this many years later.
I was 8 years
I was a
old.
sophomore.
I was 8 years old.
Oh boy, the good old days.
Doesn't the zoning, inspector, have something to do, here?
But he needs to know that we have his back too, and, you know, and helping him through the process. So if the first step is for us to have a hearing, then we decide what,
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a role in the junk vehicle issue. Might there be issues on the property that he does have a role in? Possibly.
Well, I mean, my worry is if in the event there's a small fire or something like that, are we sending in our first responders to help in a building that isn't stable enough? I wouldn't want to risk,
or cars
anyone,
blocking your way.
yeah, or a car blocking the way. Any of those type of scenarios could be really pretty scary.
Has anybody knocked on the door and to talk? I would think that the zoning inspector would, go and say, hey, what's going on here?
That has not happened.
Uh,
That hasn't happened.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what
I
to,
mean, if we have a process to follow here, and the next step in the process is to hold a hearing, then I think we need to move in that path, because I don't know what else to do here.
I mean, if to just, add to Joan's comment, if the first approach, if you'd like the first approach to be a more informal call, or even just a letter from me, just saying, hey, could we talk to you about this? Before we go this route, I'd be happy to do that.
I think we ought to at least do that as an opening,
Okay,
right? And that's our opening
okay.
salvo, right?
Yep.
Send the guy a letter saying a lot of complaints, and, however you want to wordsmith it, but we got to get a plan with this thing.
Okay.
or just concern over the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and it's the appearance of it and the towns.
Well, the appearance, as you said, that potential hazards if there's a
Yeah.
fire
But I mean, and it's what I said earlier, like there are other properties in town that are not on the main thoroughfare
Yeah.
that are of equal concern.
well, this seems to be
So I
triggered
just want to
by
be careful with,
the people making complaints seems to be what's triggering this. It's not like we're out searching for properties that are violating, right?
Correct,
These are
that's
stemming
correct.
from
No, that-
complaints being made to the board.
That's correct.
Yeah,
but complaints are positional. So like, I could say, Lee, I don't like your stone wall. I could keep saying it over and over and over again.
but if it's not in violation of the law, then that's different. You can complain all you want, and I'm gonna make it even uglier when I go home.
You can't. But I just want to make sure, like, I just don't want anyone to feel like we're seeking them out and not the other guy down on, other parts of Main Street that have a dilapidated building, or something.
Right, but again, it's this based off, we have received complaints regarding this property, where the one down the street,
Hypothetically.
hypothetically,
Yeah.
the one down the street, we have not received a complaint from somebody.
Right. But we know it's bad. And it was on that list that we went through.
Well, that list came through work from people making complaints, to my understanding.
Okay.
Most,
Most of them.
there were some that were mentioned by department heads who had concerns with the property.
Okay,
But the vast majority were based on complaints we received, yes.
So that's the vehicle to carry this forward as a complaint.
that's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
You've been receiving letters, of complaint from within 30 years.
No, this is more recent.
On one,
Did I do my math right?
no,
You said
longer
something
than
said
30 years, yeah.
1992.
Yeah,
Well-
my 30-year anniversary, not anniversary, reunion is coming up, so it's like 33 years.
So yes, there's one particular property that has been getting complaints and have had citations and hearings, and nothing has come of it, and letters, but it's like we hit a wall with
We hit a wall.
where do you go?
Yeah.
When you get to a point, so then it becomes legal fees that.
So I think at this point, is gonna be, Jason's gonna craft a letter, send it off to him. I put some teeth in the thing to the extent that you can.
Okay, yep.
All right, and let the guy know, hey, this is, and somewhat to Joni's issue, right? Since 1992, this letter was written by Susan Salvakis in 1992 about junk vehicles. Now, I think back in 1992, maybe we didn't have a bylaw in place that allowed us to execute against, right? And it was just, you can't have them there, but there was nothing other than that. But we do now have a bylaw in place, and the place continues to slide, and that house is a spectacle. It's a spectacle. I think people absolutely slow down, take a look at it, because no one can believe it.
Well, it's tough on like Memorial Day when we're doing a little ceremony at the Rock right there and so looking over and like, photos are a little, you're only pointing one way for
There was
that,
a bylaw in 92.
Wasn't it?
but I digress.
All right, good,
I'll do that.
okay.
I'll copy you on the one.
Okay, next up, discussion fall town meeting. Do we need one?
That is the question. So the major driver for one would be, the ambulance service issue. Remember, we were talking about Tingsboro on that, so to fund that, that would be the major driver for one.
Does that come to a point where it's time to sign?
Well, so I sent a draft IMA to town council for their review. And I think last week received a response back. So I've yet to share it back with Tingsboro, but that is the next step. I want to share it internally first, but then share it with Tingsboro and based on how they want the IMA drafted, we are unable to enter the contract until we have a funding stream in place to fund it. So I think they want some assurance that if they're gonna, which I don't blame them, by the way, that if they're gonna hire new staff and they're gonna, do a lot of other things in preparation of taking Dunstable, they want to have an assurance that there's funding in place to actually do it. So we couldn't sign the agreement until we have an appropriation in place, which requires town meeting.
You can't let this sit though till spring.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say, you can either call a special town meeting to do it, and there'll be other things that we can do, and wanna do. Or we could wait till May.
Not with the ambulance service, because it's just,
Yeah.
something bad's gonna happen.
Well, we want to be sure that it's ready by the time we have a town meeting, though.
Yeah.
Well-
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Chicken
think,
before the egg, so.
I think they're not gonna hire, I mean, we're not gonna be able to go to town meeting, hopefully can, get approval from town meeting and then start the next day, because they're not gonna hire until we sign that, you know what I mean? There's like,
Right,
it's gonna
yeah.
still be a process, but to kickstart the process,
You need that approval.
we need to,
Yeah. So I think the answer to that question is you ought to probably think about
go
it.
on, go on.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be a couple of other little things that'll show up that
There always is.
need to be addressed, so
Yeah.
I would pencil it in and let's get motivated or positioned so that we can have that. And that IMA, if I heard you right, Brian Falk already said it's okay?
Well, he's offered his comments.
Okay.
So the soonest we can do it based on all of the time deadlines would be like towards the end of October, right?
The 27th.
Yeah, I was thinking more November, but
Okay, well, yeah.
you want to do it in October?
No, not
Okay.
necessarily, yeah. I'm just trying to figure out the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
timeline of it, yeah.
Maybe like the 10th or the 17th?
Of November?
Yeah.
And he's starting to get into the holiday
The
season.
10th?
The 10th is Veterans Day on that month, on that
Oh.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Veterans
Probably on the
Day, you
3rd.
got Thanksgiving, yeah.
Thanksgiving's late this year, it's on the
You got
27th.
Juneteenth.
7,
Is the 17th too close to?
no. It's a week before.
Why not the 10th?
Could do
The holiday.
10th or the holiday,
11th, yeah.
Okay.
either the 11th or the 17th?
The 11th is the holiday.
Yeah,
Sorry,
It's probably the 17th.
17th.
So it'd be like ambulance, do we have any like zoning type stuff, clean up or?
I don't know if planning is ready,
We're working on
the ADU.
the ADU thing,
Okay,
and,
some CPA, maybe.
yeah. I don't know, do you have any, I think I asked you before, and I can't remember that. Do you have any requests? There was something I thought you were gonna need more money for.
CPA money, yeah, there may be, yeah. For, well, I don't know where, so the Parks and Rec has started the Lauder Field stuff,
Mhm.
so they may be depending on how that goes, they may be in a position to come in and ask for funds. There's been talk also with parks around the baseball diamonds and back at the school, and potentially needing funds for those. The school, I mean, there are CPA projects that may mature enough to be ready for November.
Yeah.
It's possible they aren't either though, so.
Like, we have no like land dispositions, anything like that?
no, not this point.
So I think at this point, the direction is to pencil it in and,
Gotcha.
go from there.
Okay, good
And
enough?
and tentatively the 17th,
Yeah.
people are okay with, okay, great, thank you.
All right, and our final agenda item, appointments to the Dunstable Cultural Council. There was a fair amount of interest in that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Any issues here with anybody?
Probably based on the communication that went out.
That's
Yeah.
right, that's
On, who did that? Who? On what? Yeah.
right.
So the cultural council had a vacancy already. Claudia Novak had to resign. Usually the cultural council had two vacancies. Claudia Novak had to resign. So you have, we actually had 5 people reach out. So you've got, these 3 in front of you. Amy Watson, who's our chair of library trustees, has a lot of grant writing experience and is excited to jump in with us. I am now the chair of the cultural council. So
She doesn't wear enough hats, so she takes on another one.
Godspeed.
I know.
this is fun. So if you're willing, these folks would like to be appointed so they can jump in, and we'll be, in the November timeframe, distributing or making the choices on our, grant distribution.
Nice.
Have these people all agreed to take this?
Yeah, they all put their requests forward.
Beautiful. I move to appoint the following to the Dunstable Cultural Council. Jessica Price, with a term expiring June 30th, 2026. Maureen Booth, with a term expiring June 30th, 2027. Amy Watson, with a term expiring June 30th, 2028.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Excellent.
All right, I think that's it. It's enough.
Yeah, go on now.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.